Good morning. Welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. You can find a different command of Jesus every weekday at our Bible plan. Would really encourage you to check that out. Bible.today.church. Some resources there to help you, to help us actually read the Bible together. Good morning, John. Thank you for checking in today. Today's Jesus Said, which is a soundbite version of a command of Jesus. Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. Now, that comes from Matthew 26, verse 41, and Luke 22, verse 46, where Jesus told the disciples in Matthew 26, stay awake and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And in Luke 22:46, he said it this way. So he said to them, why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you will not fall into temptation. Well, in context here, this was the time before his crucifixion, the night before, where Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying, and he took a few of his inner circle of disciples with him and asked them to pray with him. And then he came back, and after an hour, they were asleep. And he said, so couldn't you stay awake with me for 1 hour? Jesus knew what they were about to face, that he was about to be arrested and crucified, that their world was about to fall apart. And he knew that they would need strength to not run away, to not fall into the trap of temptation. So what did they need to face the trouble that was on the way? Well, they needed to watch and pray, but instead they slept. In fact, when the going got tough, they got going and they fell into the trap. You know, if this last year and a half has taught us anything, it's that we don't really know what's ahead. We sometimes can't even imagine the difficulties that we will face. Life is filled with traps. You've probably seen the video of someone watching a video on their cell phone, which is kind of funny. Somebody recording someone watching a video, and this person walking down the street and falling into a hole because they didn't see what was ahead. Jesus said, watch and pray so we don't fall into temptation, so we don't fall into the traps. If we have the right focus, if we keep our eyes on Jesus, we won't blindly stumble into the traps. But our flesh, our humanity, our emotions, and selfish desires, they're the biggest trap in our way. The spirit really is willing, but the flesh is also very weak. And Jesus asked his disciples, couldn't you stay awake? Couldn't you pay attention for an hour? They needed that time of prayer because our flesh is weak. Now, I wonder today, what would Jesus ask us? What would he ask me? What would he ask you, Adam? Good morning. Would he ask me, couldn't you even spend 5 minutes with me today? Couldn't you read the Bible even 5 minutes today? Couldn't you even show up to church once a week? Watch and pray so that you can see the traps. We need time with Jesus. And sure, an hour a day may seem impossible. It may seem, like la la land. But how much time are we actually setting aside each day? How could we increase that? Jesus said in Luke 16:10 that the one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And I want to challenge you today. If you don't have an appointed time set aside every day to be with Jesus, a time set aside to watch and pray, to be in God's word, and to spend time in prayer, start small and be faithful with it. Just 5 minutes a day. If you're there but need more, add 5 minutes. Put it on your calendar. Set a reminder on your phone. Make a time and a place. Make an appointment to shut out distractions. Make a commitment to do that for a small time, for maybe a week. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We have to watch and pray so that we don't fall into traps. That's where the power to resist the temptation comes from. Is Jesus waking you up and asking, couldn't you spend more time with me? Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. How can we put that